An incident that might be real, or just a shadow. A dark mystery, possibly hidden forever from the public. A strange case connected to the name of Michael Jackson. Something that never fully reached the public eye officially. Today, we attempt to decode that hidden file. Every detail, every clue, unfolding like a thriller. Are you ready for an unsettling journey ahead? Because what you're about to hear might disturb you. And it might change the way you think forever. The background of this story begins in the early 2000s. A time when Michael Jackson stood at the peak of global fame. The media tracked his every move, paparazzi everywhere. But one night, something unusual was quietly recorded. Strange movements were noticed around Neverland Ranch. Some entries in the security logs were mysteriously missing. Staff statements began to contradict each other. One caretaker claimed the lights stayed on all night. Another denied it, saying everything was completely normal. And that's when suspicion quietly began to grow. That same night, an unknown vehicle was spotted near the gate. Its number plate partially covered, almost intentionally hidden. Security camera footage appeared blurred and glitchy, as if someone had tried to tamper with the system. Michael was reportedly alone in his private studio. But audio logs captured what sounded like multiple voices. Was there a secret meeting happening that night? Or had an unwanted visitor already made their way inside? These questions later left investigators deeply confused. And every answer only raised new questions. The next morning, a staff member suddenly resigned. No explanation, no notice, just disappeared completely. Even their name was quietly removed from internal records. As if they were never part of the place at all. Investigators found this pattern extremely suspicious. A full background check on staff was initiated. Some employees were working under fake identities. The hiring process appeared rushed and careless. Was the system intentionally infiltrated from within? Or were red flags knowingly ignored by management? Michael himself never spoke publicly about this incident. He released only a vague statement to the media, saying everything was under control, nothing unusual happened. But insiders claimed he appeared visibly stressed afterward. His behavior changed noticeably for several days. Studio sessions were cancelled, meetings postponed. Some trusted staff members were temporarily removed. Was he dealing with a hidden threat behind the scenes? Or was it something deeply personal the public never knew? The mystery only deepened as time passed. The investigation reportedly began after an anonymous tip. Someone shared confidential information with authorities, claiming illegal activity might have taken place at the ranch. Police began discreet surveillance without public attention. Financial records from that period were closely examined. Unusual transactions were traced to offshore accounts. Large sums transferred to completely unknown entities. None of them linked to any known business activity. Was it blackmail, or part of some secret deal? Investigators struggled to find clear direction. Another twist emerged when an audio tape surfaced. The recording contained distorted voices in tense conversation. One voice reportedly sounded similar to Michael. The other voice remained completely unidentified and masked. Words like deal, risk, and exposure appeared repeatedly, as if sensitive information was being exchanged secretly. Experts attempted to verify the tape's authenticity, but its origin was never officially confirmed. Was it real evidence, or a carefully planted distraction? The case became more complicated with every new clue. Eventually, the media began picking up the rumors. Speculation spread quickly, turning into wild theories. Some believed it was a secret deal gone wrong. Others claimed it was an attempt to blackmail Michael. And a few dismissed everything as pure conspiracy. Public curiosity reached its peak, but facts remained unclear. Authorities maintained silence throughout the investigation. Official statements were minimal and carefully controlled, which only increased suspicion among the audience. The truth seemed to disappear into the shadows. Years later, a key witness finally came forward, claiming something serious had happened that night. According to them, a heated argument suddenly escalated, and the situation briefly spiraled out of control. But the details remained vague, possibly out of fear. Authorities thoroughly checked the witnesses' credibility. However, inconsistencies weakened their statement significantly. Were they telling the truth or seeking attention? That too became another unresolved piece of the puzzle. The core of the case remained locked in mystery. Over time, the investigation gradually slowed down. New evidence almost completely stopped appearing. Authorities eventually moved it into cold case files, officially unresolved, without any clear conclusion or closure. Public interest slowly began to fade away. But conspiracy theorists kept the story alive. Every few years, the topic resurfaces again, with new angles and fresh theories emerging. Yet no one holds solid proof even today. And perhaps the truth may never fully come out.
But the story doesn't end here. Something still remains unfinished. Years later, a former employee finally broke their silence. They claimed the truth had been hidden from the world. Allegedly, they possessed certain documents as well. These included unusual signatures and coded notes. Investigators carefully analyzed those documents in detail, but their authenticity could never be fully confirmed. Every piece of evidence carried its own doubt, as if someone was deliberately blurring the truth. Or perhaps the truth itself was confusing and incomplete. There was also mention of a hidden room in records, a room that never appeared in official blueprints. Even staff members denied knowing anything about it, yet construction logs contained a vague reference. Was that room built for some secret purpose, or just an architectural detail that was ignored? Investigators requested permission to inspect the site, but legal complications delayed the entire process. By the time access was granted, nothing unusual remained, as if everything had already been removed beforehand. Another theory emerged through digital records. Encrypted messages were detected within email exchanges. They didn't resemble normal communication at all. Cyber experts attempted to decode their meaning. Some phrases were partially translated, yet incomplete. Words like arrival, transfer, and secure appeared repeatedly. Was this part of some hidden operation between unknown individuals? Or simply misinterpreted data without proper context? Even the digital trail failed to provide clear answers. The mystery only deepened with every new angle. A journalist also launched an independent investigation. They conducted secret interviews with multiple insiders. Some shared shocking claims anonymously, yet none agreed to reveal their identity. Fear was clearly present in their voices, as if they were afraid of something powerful. The journalist tried to publish their findings, but the article was blocked before release. No official reason was ever clearly disclosed. This incident only added more suspicion to the case. Some people began calling it an organized cover-up. They believed the truth was intentionally hidden, possibly to protect a public image and legacy. Yet these claims were never proven either. Every theory had its own counter-argument, which made the case even more complex. The line between truth and fiction blurred further, and clarity became almost impossible to achieve. Even after the investigation closed, discussions continued. Online forums kept the mystery alive with new interpretations. Years later, a retired officer gave an interview. He hinted that the case was not as simple, and that certain evidence had been hidden intentionally. However, he refused to reveal specific details. Was he legally bound, or simply afraid? That question too remained unanswered. His statement revived interest in the case again. New researchers began digging once more, but no concrete breakthrough ever emerged. Every effort seemed to end in a dead end. At one point, authorities received an anonymous package. It contained several photographs and handwritten notes. The images were blurry but showed unusual figures. The notes carried cryptic warnings and strange sentences, as if someone was trying to send a hidden message. Investigators attempted to trace the sender, but the source remained completely untraceable. This clue also turned into another mystery. The narrative became even more fragmented. Each new piece added confusion rather than clarity. Some experts explored a psychological angle as well. They suggested stress and pressure played a role. Constant scrutiny from fame could be overwhelming. It could deeply affect decision-making over time. But this explanation didn't satisfy everyone, because physical evidence seemed to exist somewhere, which couldn't be explained by psychology alone. The case was multi-layered, beyond simple logic. And that's why it remained unresolved. Every explanation felt incomplete, something always missing. A documentary was once planned about this case. It was supposed to include insider and expert interviews, but the project was suddenly cancelled during production. The official reason given was budget issues. However, insiders hinted at something else entirely. They suggested possible external pressure behind the scenes. The cancellation itself became another suspicious event, raising even more doubts among the audience. Was the truth suppressed once again? or just a coincidence people exaggerated. Over time, witnesses also began to disappear. Some relocated, others went completely out of contact. As if all threads were slowly breaking apart. Reviving the investigation became increasingly difficult. Evidence started degrading due to natural reasons. Memories became unreliable with the passage of time. The truth grew more distant with each passing year, as if it was slowly being lost forever. Yet curiosity never completely faded away. And even today, people continue searching for answers. Even today, heated debates continue across internet forums. Some people dismiss it completely as pure fiction. Others believe it holds a hidden truth worth analyzing deeply. Every new user adds their own theory to the discussion. Clues are interpreted from completely different perspectives. Old evidence is often revisited again and again. Yet the result remains the same. No final answer appears. The case repeats itself like an endless loop. Every conclusion creates a new layer of doubt. And the mystery never fully gets solved. Recently, a tech expert published an interesting claim. He suggested that original footage might still be recoverable. Using advanced AI tools, blurred videos could be enhanced. He even shared sample results on online platforms. Some shapes and figures appeared slightly clearer, but the clarity was still not enough for identification. Even so, the discovery sparked fresh excitement. People began hoping the truth might finally emerge. Discussions unofficially restarted the investigation once again, but authorities still chose to take no official action. Another anonymous insider released new audio leaks. They were said to be extended versions of original recordings. These contained more intense and tense conversations. The voices sounded stressed and defensive in tone. Some phrases matched previously known audio clips. But the new parts only added more confusion. Experts analyzed them from multiple perspectives. Some called them genuine, others labeled them fabricated. Public opinion became even more divided than before. And the truth once again slipped out of reach. A retired journalist later published a personal diary. It included notes related to this mysterious case. He mentioned receiving threats while investigating the story, especially during the time he worked on it actively. He wrote that certain people did not want the truth revealed, but he never disclosed any names or identities. The diary added yet another layer to the mystery. Readers became even more curious about the deeper truth. Yet it still failed to provide any solid proof. Only more questions continued to emerge without answers. One theory suggests everything was just a coincidence. Random events were linked together into a complex narrative. The human mind naturally searches for patterns everywhere. Sometimes even ordinary things appear suspicious. But certain incidents felt too unusual to ignore completely, which is why the debate never truly ends. Every viewpoint carries its own supporting arguments. And every argument faces a contradiction as well. The case has become a paradox for logical analysis, where every answer leads to another question. Some researchers attempted to reconstruct a detailed timeline. Each event was aligned with careful precision. Yet gaps still remained during crucial moments. Certain time periods were completely undocumented. These missing pieces seemed the most important. Perhaps the real truth was hidden within them. But without evidence, it remained pure speculation. Even a reconstructed timeline felt incomplete. The core problem of the investigation never changed. Missing links kept the puzzle unsolved. A private investigator once took up the case independently. He claimed he would uncover the truth eventually. He traveled across multiple countries gathering information, secretly meeting individuals connected to the case. But after a few months, he suddenly went silent. His project was abandoned without any explanation. This silence created even more suspicion. People assumed he might have faced pressure, or discovered something too dangerous to reveal. Once again, the truth disappeared into the shadows. A strange pattern began to emerge in every investigation. Whenever someone got close to the truth, something interrupted them. Evidence would mysteriously vanish without any trace. It was unclear whether this was coincidence or deliberate, but the repetition made the pattern noticeable. Many connected it to a possible cover-up theory, Authorities, however, dismissed it as coincidence. Yet doubts could never be completely eliminated. Trust and suspicion remained in constant conflict. And the case grew darker with time. Even today, there are rumors of classified files. No official confirmation has ever been shared publicly, but some believe certain records were never released. If they ever surface, the truth might finally appear. Or perhaps they would only create more confusion. Because every new detail adds complexity, not clarity. The mystery has started to feel like a maze. Easy to enter, but nearly impossible to escape. At every turn, a new doubt appears. And the deeper you go, the darker it gets. The final thought is simple yet unsettling. Some cases are never meant to be solved. Not every mystery has a logical conclusion. Sometimes the truth remains hidden forever, or becomes too complex to fully understand. Michael's name in this story feels like a shadow, never fully visible, only quietly present. A reminder of unanswered questions that remain, and of human curiosity that never truly ends. Maybe the truth will surface one day, or maybe not. Until then, this story remains just a mystery.